If somebody comes between you and your sense of purpose, your sense of meaning, your future dreams, create boundaries. Hello there, this is Dr. Susan Gitau. Today I would like us to unpack self-esteem, your self-esteem. When I talked about unpacking your self-concept, one of the elements and components that I touched on was your self-concept. And in that, there is self-esteem, that part of you that you sometimes feel highly excited about, elevated. It's that part of you that would describe your self-worth. Well, you cannot fully describe how someone's self-worth is like. You cannot equate that to money. You cannot equate that to wealth. You cannot equate that to types of relationships maybe you do have. But those are some of the factors that can contribute to either high or low self-esteem. Very critical for you to ask yourself two main questions. When do I feel highly valued? How do I feel highly valued, either by me or by other people? I'd like to say that where someone grows also contributes a lot. For example, if it's the family setting, did the family give you an environment that made you feel valuable, that made you feel you're worthy? Did they appreciate you? Did they appraise you? Did they tell you thank you for a job well done? When you did a good task, or when you did something that really pleased your parents, your siblings, or your guardians, or your teachers, did they tell you thank you? Did they make you feel you did something very good or very well? That sense of value that can come from other people affirming you, celebrating you, can make you feel elated. The teachers that know how to use positive reinforcement in class, they do that quite a lot. Whether it's in terms of behavior, whether it's in terms of academic performance, they will do it. And the parents who know the value of that, they also do it. When it comes to people in a relationship, maybe it's just a normal relationship with a friend. It's a social connection. And they value you, they validate you, they appraise you. Not faking it, but doing it exactly when they know you've really done something that is worth celebration. You really feel valued. And that is why it's important to ask yourself, do I surround myself with people who make me feel that I have a high sense of worth? Do I surround myself with people that make me feel it is worth being with them, it's worth being around, it's worth being alive? And so you can also choose very many institutions, relationships that validate you. All the systems that I talked can contribute to the idea of who you are, can also contribute to the way you feel about yourself. Where you work, your employer, does your employer recognize your input? Does your employer recognize your value? When they do, it feels very good. It makes you boost your self-confidence and you want to do better and better day in, day out. Where maybe you go for your spiritual work, whether it's a meditation center, whether it's a church, whether it is a mosque, a temple, a synagogue, and you have your spiritual mentors and coaches and ministers. And they find maybe every day you're trying to make effort to be a better person, or you're doing something very, very credible for the institution. When they value you, when they validate you, when they appraise you, they appreciate you, They show some gratitude, whether it's materially or it could be non-materially. It makes you have a high self-esteem. And so all the systems that you operate in, big question, do they raise my self-esteem? All said and done, sometimes those systems can let you down. Maybe they don't know how to raise your self-esteem. Maybe they do, and they don't bother. Maybe they think they appreciate you. And that can put you at crossroads. You may really wonder, do they appreciate me? I want to tell you something different today. You can raise your self-esteem. And the biggest questions, I say there too. What makes me feel elated, happy, joyful, peaceful, energetic, excited? And you alone can answer that. Because sometimes the system outside of yourself may fail you. But you can imagine how that would be bad if you failed yourself. And so it's very helpful for you to ask yourself those two questions. What raises my self-esteem? What brings it down? And if you're able to do that, the next step you're going to do when you list them down is to ask, how can I raise my self-esteem? If I know this raises my self-esteem, how do I raise it? For example, maybe when you are appreciated and people are grateful for what you've done for them, you can cultivate the attitude of gratitude. And you can wake up every morning and say thank you to yourself for having woken up. Maybe you've done your morning workout. Maybe you've made good breakfast. Maybe you've taken care of yourself. Maybe you have accomplished your tasks. Well done, Susan. You can do that. You can wake up in the mirror and look at yourself and appreciate the way you look, the way you've made up your face, made up your body, the way you've taken good care of yourself. Talk to yourself. Self-talk. And especially when you want to have some affirmations that raise your self-esteem. Oh, Susan, you're valuable. Oh, Susan, you're so kind. Susan, you're so compassionate. Oh, Susan, you're hardworking. Oh, Susan, you're good at what you do. You are loving. Tell yourself all those nice things, whether you already have them or you desire to have them. Because the more you tell yourself those beautiful things, someday they will come true. You do it on a daily basis until it comes true. So affirmations are quite important. And when I talk about affirmations, I also want you to get me right here. Sometimes you may use affirmations when things are pretty bad for you. You're feeling very low. And you can affirm yourself, for example, by telling yourself, you've ever been here before and you're able to rise up. You rise again. You have been a resilient woman. You've been a resilient young man. Look at what you once went through and you pulled through. You will still overcome this one. And so you can use some of your past experiences where you really rose from that grassroots level. You were down there. One time you lied very low like an envelope. You rose, you flew away higher and higher like an eagle. Remember those moments. And I'm talking to you who could be feeling right now like you've reached your end. You've come to the end of the road. Remember times you felt very good about yourself. What was going on? Bring that memory back. I remember when I was a young adult, when I had lots of depressive episodes at the university. Of course, we know that is the age where you're either hooked up with somebody for marriage or you're thinking about marriage. I didn't even know how to go about it. I didn't even know what all that was about, to be very honest. But there is that inner desire and emptiness that you're really waiting for somebody to come and fill it in. And I don't think that's a very good space for any young adult who was never raised up in a loving environment, affectionate environment. In most cases, you don't even know what you want. And even if you have an idea, you don't know how to go about it. And in most cases, people do get emotionally abused at this stage. But because they don't know what is better, they just swing along. But wait, one day, when you wake up and you discover that, oh, this is not the way I should be loved. This is not the way I love. Maybe I give all to the other person. I think I deserve better. You will wake up and feel so low. You might find yourself going to the deep end. And you might find yourself feeling like you truly depressed, you're helpless, you're hopeless, you're negative, you feel like things are not gonna change, they will remain that way. I'd like to encourage you today and tell you that things can change, and they can change as much as you want to change, and you change it. And so you can decide, yes, I have not been in a very loving, warm relationship, whether it is a romantic one, you're dating, or you're even married, which can be a little bit complicated and a little bit challenging. You can decide, I want better. And that is the time, your list now that you've created, this is the way I would like to raise my self-esteem. You can also create boundaries, that these boundaries have been violated. They've made me unhappy. They've made me feel like I don't want to love me. All sorts of things that went wrong. It's because maybe you didn't know boundaries, or you had diffused boundaries, or you're very confused about it. But now you know better. After being in that murky ground, very confused world, very distressing world, you already shape a world that you want to have to raise your self-esteem. And so, drawing the list, creating boundaries is very important. And make sure you're firm, add assertiveness, that you cannot cross this boundary. And boundaries are different shapes, sizes, and types. Because I can have what we call emotional boundaries, where I can take care of my emotional well-being, my feelings. It can be that what I'm going through right now, my physical boundaries have been violated. And I can decide, these are my physical boundaries. Whether it's how close you bring somebody to your physical space, whether it is your home, your office, and wherever you get close to people physically. If that was once violated, you can decide enough is enough. There are situations where you may find that spiritual boundaries also matter. And this is where you realize if every one of us wants to be remembered for one thing or two, leaving a legacy, making meaning, and where you can make meaning in your own life, it's very, very critical. What do you value in life? What makes you see that you're worthy being in this world? How do you turn another person's world to be a happy, peaceful, quiet, productive, creative, wealthy one? What is it that you do outside meeting your own needs? Because those are the things that make life meaningful. Is it something you're doing for another person, not just family, and especially those that cannot repay you? Is it something you're doing to enhance your sense of meaning, your sense of existence? If somebody comes between you and your sense of purpose, your sense of meaning, your future dreams, create boundaries. Because those people who are already living their purpose, they're having a purpose-driven life. I want to tell you for a fact, over 70% of them are fulfilled with their day-to-day activities in life. And so if anybody violates that boundary, surely you need to question, are they worth being in my hood? We do have cognitive boundaries, and I like to talk about intellectual boundaries, where somebody makes you not to think straight, not to think independent, not to have the freedom of thinking, combined with freedom of expression, combined with freedom of connection. And so cognitive, social, behavioral, most of the times they work together. And you find even if whatever you want to do, you feel good doing it, especially if it is something that you like, it's really making me have high self-esteem. And I want you to note this. It is not everything that makes me feel pleasure. Get me right. But what makes me feel that I have this high self-esteem. And self-esteem is not a one-time pleasure. It is not about temporary, happiness. It is more of a consistent way of living. It's not about laughing most of the times, by the way, although it's not bad to laugh, it's smile and all that. It's a deep sense of feeling, sensing, experience that makes you feel every minute, every second, it is worth living. It's a signature that reminds you this life is not a rehearsal. You're just passing by. And if I can maximize my happiness, my peace, my imagination, my creativity, without harming me and harming another person, without having to later regret. Because there are things people do, and that's why I'm talking about temporary pleasure. They do them and they feel good, but it's just for a short while. Maybe later on it's followed by guilt, bitterness, resentment. That's not what I'm talking about. Because there are many things people do to mask their pain. There are many things people do to cover up their pain. But in the real sense, when we see them at that time, we think they are happy. It could be even driving a very good car. It could be living in a very big home. It could be earning lots of degrees, whatever it may be. But catching you at one point feeling very low, that emptiness may make us question, are your cars your source of self-esteem? Is your money your source of self-esteem? That's why I said it's about going inward to get out. What is in, getting out. Sometimes we do have personality types that may make you prone to feel elated or elevated. The sanguines, the cholerics most of the time have very high energy levels. The phlegmatics can enjoy the peace of relaxing with everyone, sometimes in any situation. Melancholics can analyze a lot. The males, they can analyze, reanalyze a lot. And they have a likelihood of feeling low most of the times because most of the time they're basically negative. They're only positive when they like strike a deal or get a very good answer to a mystery that they were unraveling. And they have sometimes limited moments of feeling good about themselves. Sometimes it's just short time and then it goes. And so it's important to know that your own gifts can be a very big source of self-esteem. What are you gifted in? All of us have something we can do very uniquely for self, for other people, and mostly for other people. Can you list your areas of strengths? Could be your skills, could be your gifts, could be outstanding competencies, could be outstanding networks. Do you know yourself that much? Because many a times the danger is when you don't know what raises your self-esteem, anyone, anything can come and lie to you. They are raising your self-esteem. And so self-awareness is very critical. Kindly become aware as I put this to a close. Become aware of what makes you feel a high sense of worth. Boost your self-confidence. Makes it easy for you to interact without people without judgment. Encourages you to be the best version of yourself. Know that very well. And if anybody wants you to forget about that, they are violating the boundaries that give you the very thing you're looking for. The question is, do you want to live with those toxic intruders, relationships? And last but not least, who is the outstanding you? What is so unique about you? Because that which is very unique about you is a major source of your self-esteem. Do you know it? And who can work with you on a daily basis to enhance your self-esteem? Next time I'll be talking about how we view other people and especially how we interact with them and how we can boost our self-esteem through mindful self-compassion, mindfulness, and enhanced emotional intelligence. Thank you so much. This has been your Dr. Susan Gitau. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share to bless another person. Thank you. God bless you. I would like you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dr. Susan Gitau, where you will access mental health tips every week, every month, every year. Thank you.